G'day, this is AC from Game Life Balance Australia. This is basically just a test to see if the new settings I have on my system work. So I thought I'd just show you all a few Famicom Disk System games. For those of you who aren't in the know, the Famicom Disk System is an add-on for the original Japanese Famicom, which would later become the Western NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. So I just thought I'd pop in a few games and see if it all syncs up. And first of all we have... Dun, da, da, da. It chugs along quite a bit. Yep, why that's in English I have no idea. Super Mario Bros. 2. Yes, that's right. This is the original version of Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Disk System. I don't think it ever saw a cartridge release in Japan either, just on the disc, and then was later updated for Super Mario All-Stars in both regions. So let's give it a go. Oh, okay, that was... So you can see that the graphics are a little updated. Not much. There are a few sprite changes. Whoop. There I go. This game is, of course, famously incredibly difficult. Even the first level isn't that easy. It was basically made for people who wanted a challenge. Now, I have actually finished this game before. And it's basically as hard as you think it is. Now, it feels a little sluggish to me, and that's just because I think I'm not used to the controls. I've been playing a lot more kind of faster games recently. And Mario is quite slow in the original one as well. Funnily enough, if you play the PAL version on an NTS... the NTSC version on a PAL version, I think you get a much faster game for whatever reason. There you go. So, well, it's one of those two. So I'll try quite a few games here. I'm just going to keep recording to see if it's syncing all up. And if it is, that's really good news for us, because that means that we can kind of just shove anything in there and just keep recording. The underground level. Ooh, bit of slowdown there. I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. Alright, I think that's enough of that. Next, we will try... Dracula. Castlevania, actually. Side A. So these have side A and side B. This is basically a cheaper version of the cartridge, which is why they use these. You can actually take discs into stores back in the late 80s, early 90s, and have them rewritten. So it's a lot cheaper than buying cartridges. I really wish I could see one of those old systems. I don't even know what it looks like. I'd have to look it up on the internet. But I think people have already found out a way to rewrite these discs, so people still do actually sell them. So here we go. So I'll load up my old save here. The great thing about the disk system is that it means that you can write a save onto it. And of course, you always need to flip the disk. There we go. Now, the great thing about being able to save is that you don't have to do it all in one big go. And trust me, I am much more comfortable playing this game when I don't have to do it all in one big go. Also, oh, of course, no jump control. This is the 60 Hz version, which is NTSC. Why is that important? Well, it's been a while since I played this. The PAL version is much slower. Now you always want the watch. Oh, that was very, very close. Yeah. Wow, I'm really bad at this. I mean, even with Infinite Continues, this is not an easy game. I've gone pretty far to the end before, just not on this version. I think actually, I shouldn't admit this, but I used an emulator back in, I think it was the late 90s. Because everyone's talking about Castlevania and how good it... no air control. Alright, that's Castlevania. You know, for more fascinating ways to see me die and die and die and die again, keep watching. I think I'll put that side A in the case. Alright, so next we shall do, because it's the 30th anniversary, we shall do Zelda. Interesting, my controller doesn't appear to be working. There we go. So obviously it loads one side into the RAM and then you swap the disk over and then it loads the rest of the data. B main. Okay. Alright. There we go. Omachi kudasai, which means please wait. Alright. I'll just go here. So this is the original Legend of Zelda in Japan. Because it was on the Disk System, it probably wasn't as popular and well known until its next incarnation, so to speak. It's interesting because all of the language is in katakana, which is very easy to read, especially for me, rather than hiragana or kanji. There might be hiragana in here, but I'm not 100% sure. I have actually completed this game before, the English version. It is a lot of fun, but I used a walkthrough for a lot of it because I just don't have the time to explore brave new worlds, etc., etc. Catch that fairy, dissect it, and discover its secrets. I got a lot of these Disk System games in a place called Hard Off, which is a second-hand shop, basically for a couple of bucks. They didn't come with the packaging and everything like that, it was just basically the disc, but considering that these things do have a bad tendency to degrade after a while, I'm lucky that it's all basically in working order. Now there's a trick here where you can basically collect all the rupees and then go buy a better sword kind of right off the bat. I am not the best at this game, I'm the first to admit. I do love it. Oh, get the heart. Don't get the heart. Okay, I'm dead. And everything turned to lava. The floor is lava, people. Alright. So that's what the original Legend of Zelda look like. Just pop you back in the case. Side B. Yep. Oh boy. So what have we got next? I know. Zelda 2, another game that I got quite randomly. Clunky, clunky, clunky. I'm not sure if you can even hear that through the mic. I've probably got the mic set to unidirectional in front of my face. So The Adventures of Link. This one's called AC. Yes, there we go. Change side B, so it's already loaded part of it, and then let's load the other part. I think that's how it works anyway. I'm not a computer sort of guy. I actually quite like this version of Zelda. I really like 2D platforming. But it is insanely difficult. And the random enemy encounters kind of piss me off no end as well. So let's just go through the Cave of Wonders here. It's a pretty easy one, this one. Maybe just keep jumping so, you know, invisible enemies and all that. More random encounters. I think I'll just go to the first dungeon thing. If this is the first one, I don't even know. I have this on PAL NES as well. And the save file still works, and it's great because it's all there, basically. I think the music's pretty cool. Hyrulean elevators. Very efficient. I always have a habit of ducking and attacking. I just like a really odd thing that I used to do in fighting games all the time. Wow, that guy literally appeared out of nowhere. I kind of like the experience point things. I'm not really a big RPG kind of guy. Ooh. Ah! Totally killed my boner. Alright. That is Adventures of Link. And interestingly enough, actually, I'll pop this back in and see if I can actually kind of call this up. I think it's in the first village that you see this. And I find it fascinating. I'll see if you do as well. The loading, you know, this is an insane loading. I always like to leave the save of an original game on there. You know, if it's far advanced through the game, in case I need to kind of show anything off. Sorry, you'll probably hear my voice fade in and out. I'm kind of moving around. This setup I have is basically a shit show. It is just, there is stuff and cables everywhere. My retro gaming setup is just insane. I think this is one of the only... Come on, get to the town. Wait. Sequels to the original Legend of Zelda. I think there might be another one. Let's go in here. So here we go. No, not that guy. Oh man, I really hope I can find it. I don't think I can. Okay, this music isn't so great. What have you got to say for yourself? Nothing interesting there. This will be interesting to see whether it all syncs up, I guess, because it's quite a long record. Alright. Pretty sure there's another town along this way. Oh, fuck stick. It's just... It's just not as good as Mario. That was if the 2D platforming was a little bit better, this would be very, very enjoyable in my opinion. But it's just not as fast and twitchy as Mario is, and that it's kind of a little bit annoying. But I understand that it's a very different sort of game. I think this is the village. Look, honestly, it's been so long. All right, I think this is it. Okay. Oshino naha. So Oshino naha ero era da. So basically, he's saying, I am error. So this is in the original version as well. So it's not just like a mistranslation or something. It is in the original Japanese version. That is what I wanted to show you. Alright, just a few more to go. Let's see, what are we going to do next? Let us do... I'll leave that one till last, maybe. Parutena. So, basically, you guys would know this as Kirikarus, I think. Okie dokie. Let's just start from here. Alright. I think I've got most of the Disk System games that I want. The only other one that I really want to get is Doki Doki Panic, the original Super Mario Bros. 2 in the US / rest of the world. In Japan, it's actually called Super Mario Bros. 2 US, and they did actually release it on a cartridge. I do like the omnidirectional shooting here, but it's just not quite there yet. I am playing this on a Famicom 101. Which is the basically the second model. I kind of use the serial code for it, like the code name, which I know sounds kind of a little bit funny, but the reason I do that is because I'm actually quite familiar with all the HVC serial numbers and serial codes, code names, whatever you want to call them. And that's how I keep it straight in my head. Ah, oh, damn motherfucker. Alright. Yeah. Oh, a bit of slow down there. There's a lot of music in here from Game Center CX. I use that. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Rainbow Islands, how you got to keep going up. But of course, I'm pretty sure this would have come first by quite a long way. Alright. And I think lastly today we will play my second favourite game of all time. Would almost probably be my first, if not for the fact that it always has to be done with 2 players. And I love 2-player games, but it's just always finding that damn second player. Alright, let's see how we go. It is, of course, Bubble Bobble. When I was younger, we always used to call it just Bubble Bubble, because the Australian accent doesn't distinguish a whole lot between U and O. Although we can, obviously. Set B-side, alright. It's actually quite difficult to find a working disk system these days, because all the ones from the original version in the 80s don't work anymore, because all the belts deteriorated. So you actually need someone to repair them. And I'm good at repairing stuff, but the disk system is just very difficult. Because even after you do it, you need to basically reconfigure it. And that's the bit I'm not good at. I can't resynchronize everything after the belt's in place. I can replace the belt, but everything else is quite difficult. I should only just show you. So this is not the best port. It's not a bad port, certainly. Of course, the arcade is the best. The next greatest port, I would say, is actually the Master System. And the Master System also has a whole lot more levels as well. This version is the one which we've come closest to actually finishing fully. After the main game, there's another few levels, which is quite annoying. Ah, missed. If you go against the wall and blow bubbles, you'll get 10 points, and you never know when 10 points is going to come in handy. N. So yeah, as I said, not a bad port, but I'm very picky when it comes to Bubble Bubble for a very good reason. It is a fantastic game. But you can only get the true ending and then the subsequent levels if you beat it with 2 players while both are alive at the same time. And the end boss isn't, there's certainly technique to them, but it's one of those odd things that you kind of need to figure out properly beforehand. I think I have about 5 different versions of Bubble Bubble, actually. I've got it on, obviously, Famicom Disk System. I think there was actually a cartridge version released of this for the Famicom, but it's actually quite expensive because it was quite late in the game. I've got the Master System version. I've got the old/new version for Game Boy Advance, which is pretty fun. I've got Taito Legends on just about everything, including PC. Ooh, died. And PS2. I think I actually had the opportunity to buy it for an Xbox at one stage, and I kind of declined for the good reason that I don't own an Xbox. It's one of the few consoles I probably don't own, but I don't know, I don't really see that as retro. It's kind of the beginning of the new era, really, at least in my opinion. And, people disagree with that, and that's fine. I can't keep getting consoles, because I literally don't have any room for them anymore. I actually had an Amiga and a Commodore 64, I think, at one stage. I ended up selling those because, once again, a bridge too far. Like, I just did not have the kind of space and even time as well. Like, it took me ages just to get this far in my... Oh, damn, missed the candy. I don't know. I always like getting the points and everything, but there's no point. I'm gonna shut this game off pretty soon. I think I've only got one life left, so really I think this will be that's it. That's it. All right. I'm really hoping that synced up, because if it did, that means that everything is solved and we can do this a lot more often. That probably wasn't that interesting, but it was kind of fun just, you know, playing and dying. Playing and dying is what I do in video games. I'm very good at it. At least the second part. Well, I am AC, and this was Game Life Balance Australia. Thank you very much for watching, listening, interacting, poking. Poking? Do we poke? We poke.